to the Adventure of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.
Wake up, America! It's time for the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY.com, West Palm Beach's #1 internet radio station. Here's your host, the Pipeman.
So drunk, like a tsunami sweeping at your whole town. You know there's a whale in your living room. Now your world is an aquarium, but my enemies, you know we buried them. A tsunami on the front line, it won't be fun. Rebuild from the wreckage, all in your own time. Rise for the blood. Like you're swimming in the shark tank, gonna get big. You know I'll see you later at the blood bank. Rise for the blood.
This is Pipeman here on the Adventures of Pipeman W4CY Radio, and I'm here with
Alan from Silly Goose.
Ian Binion from Silly Goose.
Nice. And so, first of all, I was witness to Silly Goose the first time Danny Wimmer discovered Silly Goose when the parking lot was raided. And so old school, I love that because I come from a time where all the bands did exactly that and what you guys do. And I remember recently, I think it was this last year at Riot Fest coming out, and Jackson's promoting the Subway show outside of Riot Fest. And those things is the reason I think you had such a meet and greet here, because I'm amazed. I was saying, I'm so happy for you guys that it's amazing. One day you're crashing a parking lot. The next day you're on a cruise ship with a line out the frickin' door to meet you guys. How does that feel?
The one word is surreal.
Right?
It's just surreal. And there have been so many surreal instances that I've experienced in the timeline of being in this band. And it's just so heartwarming, and it gives me so much hope for the band's future. But just surreal.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think last night was one of those experiences. I was at your show, and I don't know if I can mention what I was doing at the end of the show in the middle of the crowd.
But we respect you for doing it.
Yes. But I was like, yes. Because I remember, it's funny too, the whole time I was like, man, I can't deal without having this thing that you would normally do. Mm-hmm. And I was so pumped. But I also... the energy you had in that room, I also told a bunch of people I know, I'm you have to go to see this show because they are old school punk, what it was way back when, and the passion you guys have. And I was even saying to a person doing media with me, I'm Jackson, he's actually a really nice, mild-mannered person. This... You see him on stage and you talk to him off stage, it's two different people, which is the way it should be.
Oh, yeah.
So how did you guys feel about last night's show?
Well, on drums, I'm already pretty limited with the way I move, so I kind of just had to express myself through my face and just kind of whack everything. But Ian, would you say it was a little more challenging for you with the whole light bulb situation?
Yeah, the light bulbs.
Well, yeah, I definitely. I went into it with the mindset of I probably can't move as much as I normally move, and that might hinder the fun factor for me a little bit. But after the set, it was just as fun as any show I've ever done, if not more memorable, just because it was my first time playing on a cruise, and the crowd was just so ready for anything that we wanted to do. So I ended up having a lot more fun than I thought I would. It was a blast. Yeah.
It was a blast for me, that's for sure. And I loved how Jackson started talking about oxymorons because I was at their gig too. And I was right there when the light bulb got smashed. And then I loved how Jackson okay, let's move the whole crowd back beyond the light bulbs.
We've never done that before.
Right.
He was right. That was the first time we've ever get the fuck away from the stage so you can go crazy and not destroy.
I know, it's weird too when you're the kind of band you are, because you're kind of band, you want the people up there. So it's weird to do that, but you guys played it off great because it was still probably the most brutal set of the day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So you guys haven't toured with a lot of people.
Not yet. No.
And I'm going to do something new with you guys that I was going to surprise Jackson, and now he's screwed because you guys are lucky enough for it.
Lucky us.
This is my battle vest from 1981.
Holy shit.
Have not worn it since I'm 16. I want you guys to hold it, take a look at it, read the bands on there, and I want you to tell me. Each of you might have a different answer. If you had a band that you would most want to tour with that's on that vest,
Oh, wow.
which one would it be? So,
We got to inspect it. I need better lighting.
Yeah.
right? And I drew all of that stuff.
Really?
Yes, I drew it all. And if you look at the patches, how screwed up you can tell they were in the pit.
Ooh. I mean, dude, you can't not want to tour with Slayer.
Right?
That would be cool. Are they still touring? I thought they were.
Well, actually, they didn't for 5 years, and they played a couple shows last year, and they are playing Louder Than Life this year.
System of a Down?
Oh.
Yeah, System.
All right.
hands
Well,
down.
that's one of my top 5, so that's a great pick.
For sure. Yeah.
How cool would that frickin' be?
Right? Just make it happen.
I know, we're putting it out there.
Just to even see them would be like that reason alone, just so I can get to see them for free every night.
You know what? I saw them at Aftershock a few years ago, and I never saw this happen in my life. Thousands of gigs I've gone to. The whole crowd sang the lyrics to every single song, the whole set. Like, the whole crowd, you couldn't even hear him sing because they were so loud. Like, I was getting chills. It's, like, amazing.
Yep. That's not something every band can pull off.
No.
It takes a special band.
And what does it feel when you guys are playing and you see people singing your songs back to you?
Ridiculous. It's
Right?
just ridiculous. It's so insane for me to just fathom that there's some kid in their room looking up the lyrics to our songs or learning them on guitar or something. It makes me just want to do it more and more and more and never stop.
Right?
Yeah, and for the first time on this tour, in the song Tsunami, like, there's a quiet part, there's singing. This was the first time we've ever heard, like, our fans singing that part. Like, it's not the catchy part, it's the singing, like, oh, I'm here to listen and vibe to the song, and they're singing along. This was the first time it's
Nice.
ever happened to us on this tour.
That must feel amazing.
No, it does,
Right?
for sure.
So what was that one moment in life, different for both of you, that led you to being here? Like, where you were in some kind of music experience that you're like, this is what I need to do.
I've almost kind of always known. I started with drums and then I picked up guitar, and I've always known that this is what I'm good at, that this is the only thing I should be pursuing. I would not I'd rather be homeless than work an office job. I just can't.
Nice.
I can't sit still. So if this doesn't work out, I'm fucked, but it's working out so far.
But those are the people that succeed, because I'm also a motivational speaker, so I believe the only way to succeed is to have nothing to fall back on, because when you do, you fall back on it. You have no choice but to go forward.
Yep.
And I have to praise you, too, because I played drums for 9 years. Then I went to guitar, just like you,
Nice.
and I sucked at both of them. So now I'm good at this.
Thank you.
But, yeah, it's a lot of work. I think people don't realize. I remember the day I heard about, like, I was big into Randy Rhoads, okay? And when I heard that he practiced for 8 hours a day, I'm like, yeah, I don't think I'm going to do that.
But also, yeah, that checks out because he's a fucking monster of a player.
Right?
Like,
But somebody that's a great guitarist or has the passion for it, doesn't have to be great, the passion, would do that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to practice like that. And I think that's what people don't realize. They just think, oh, you're just picking up a guitar and, like, you're just having fun, especially when it comes to punk music, because punk's always been known as people don't know how to play their instruments, but they do learn them. You take the punk bands from when I was a kid and how they are now, they're totally great musicians.
Yeah.
Did they suck in the beginning? Sure, but that's of anything. You have to learn your craft, and I think you learn a lot more playing it than reading it.
oh,
Absolutely.
1,000%. Yeah.
So how about you? What was your moment?
I played drums like almost all my life. My dad got me my first drum set. I was like 8 years old. But I'd say I didn't take it seriously till I was like middle school, early high school. But I'd say to me, it was like a hobby. Like, it was just like, I want to just be good at this. It's something fun to do outside of school. But after I met Jackson and then we started doing street shows, that's when I realized, wait, like, we could do something serious with this and go somewhere with this. So I'd say, yeah, the street shows was the moment I was like, whoa, we're doing something different. We might make it somewhere.
And those street shows are fun, aren't they?
Oh, for sure.
I think when bands get big, they miss doing that stuff. You know, you go and you're a band and you want to get big and play the arenas and play Shiprocked and all that stuff, but you don't realize that you're going to miss those old days of, like, just playing on a street corner.
For sure. The goal is definitely, like, here we are, Shiprocked, playing festivals, doing big rooms, and then eventually amphitheaters. But I think we'll definitely try and go back to our roots whenever we can, when it makes sense.
Yeah, we've had that conversation as a band of, like, we hate this now, but we're gonna miss this. And in the moment, you kind of know it, and you give yourself the time to appreciate it as much as you can.
100%.
Yeah, even if it is really, really shitty sometimes.
Right, and it is. I always talk about that. People don't even realize how hard it is to be a musician, how much work you put into it. They look at it like, oh, they're just having fun and blah, blah, blah. Man, it is 90% hard work, and maybe 5% of it is fun, but that 5% outweighs the rest of it.
It has to.
And if it doesn't, you're in the wrong business. If you don't have fun and passion for this ain't a business to be in, because everything else sucks, you know?
Yeah.
And kudos to you, your dad, because reason I stopped playing drums is I had to play that fucking practice pad for like 6 years, and all I wanted was a drum set to play for real, and I finally got sick of that drum pad shit, the practice pad shit.
Just got a guitar, it was easier.
Yeah, exactly. And then my dad, I was playing the guitar, and you can relate to this. I was just experimenting. I didn't know what I was doing, but I just wanted to hear what cool sounds I could make. And to me, that's what metal and punk is about. It's like, instead of going with some formula, you're experimenting to find out what can come out. I remember my dad yelling in the background, "You shouldn't play guitar, you suck." And I'm like, I'm not trying to play a song. I'm just trying to make sounds. I want to hear what sounds cool. Well, you suck. Maybe you should learn how to play it. But that is how you learn how to play, isn't it?
That's funny you bring that up, because recently a big approach of mine to guitar has been less what formal chords and melodic things should I play, and more I want to make sounds that make people question how I made those sounds.
Totally.
Like,
that's what makes you stand out.
Yeah.
You know? Otherwise, you just like, look at Sabbath.
Yep.
There would be no Sabbath if it weren't for Tony, or metal, if it weren't for Tony Iommi having parts of his fingers cut off and have to figure a different way, and came up with a new sound. Like,
play through a bass amp, use banjo strings.
And that made them who they are. And I think that's true of anybody. You have to be unique. You can't, this isn't a genre that you can use an algebraic equation to make, which I find a lot of bands are doing nowadays.
You can try.
Yeah.
You can try.
But then you sound like everybody. No, it's that.
Yeah.
That's why I love you guys, because there's so many bands nowadays that do that. And if you go back to my time and all the bands on that Battle Vest there, you know, they all sounded different even though they were in the same genre. You could easily tell Slayer apart from Anthrax, yet they were in the same genre.
Yeah.
Nowadays, what people said to me when they said, oh, all metal sounds the same, all punk sounds the same, and I'd argue with them, now they're kind of right, because there's a lot of bands that just use this algebraic equation to make a song, and you guys don't do that. You guys actually are artists, musicians that are creating music, not a math equation.
Yeah.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
It's important.
Yeah.
It's very important to me. I'm an old school gatekeeper. Like, if this would have been the 80s, me and my friends would be like fucking posers to those kind of bands, you know? And you think about it, you take the old school bands, like, all the different sounds that came out of those bands were not something that were normal for the times.
Yeah.
And that's what creates the everlasting and the long career. Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, so in your career now, do you see this doing this the rest of your life?
Yeah. I mean,
As long as I can. I think the way I have it mapped out in my head, I would love to tour for the next decade. I'm 22.
Nice.
And eventually, I would like to transition to producing for bands. That's definitely a goal of mine. But I think I'd still want to tour. I get a great enjoyment out of performing in front of an audience, for sure.
Or you could do like, have you ever heard the band Oingo Boingo? Do you know? Okay.
Uh-huh.
So they played in my high school gym.
Yeah.
Okay. Before everybody, and now look at Danny Elfman.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yep.
it went to like the biggest composer in history.
Yeah.
And like, it's just amazing. If you would have asked me back in 1980 when I saw them in my freshman gym assembly, okay, I'd been like, you're out of your mind. That's not going to happen. And so I think that is cool, too, because, like, even though you're a musician, I think what happens to a lot of musicians as they're in the business long enough, they learn every part of the business.
Yeah.
And I think that's what creates the longevity. Mm-hmm. So, story. One story, good or bad, that will be imprinted in your brain forever in this whole Silly Goose journey so far.
I have mine. Are we thinking the same thing?
What are you thinking?
I have mine immediately. It rhymes with machete.
Can we talk about that?
Yeah, we can talk about it.
You think we can
I think
talk
it's
about
fine.
that?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
this one hit me as soon as
That
you asked.
one was, maybe I think that might be a reason we decided to slow down on the DIY.
So- So this is a bad story. We put this in the bad story pile. Very long story short, we book a house show right outside of incarceration, and we promote it. We pass out flyers. We invite a lot of people to this house show, and then we perform in this house show, and it's great. People are loving it. The vibes are super intimate, super fun. 4 songs in, someone pulls a machete out of their jacket and tries to stab someone.
Wow.
And then the room clears out, and that's that. It's just over. Like we tried to like just get our shit and move it, get out of there as fast as possible. But yeah, it was literally just like our singer Jackson saw the machete and was just like, nope, this is done. Everyone get the fuck out. We're leaving. Like, we can't have fun anymore. Lives are at risk.
That's fucking wild, man.
Yep.
Like, I have 10 million stories. I've never, in any gig I've ever been to, seen somebody pull out a machete. Like, I've been at suicidal shows where they were moshing with switchblades.
Yeah.
But a machete?
Yeah.
That's insane. Like, who walks around with a machete?
It was terrifying. It was not fun. Yeah, but that immediately, that will stick with me forever, for sure.
Right?
I hope I don't endure anything like that ever again.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So, what else you guys got going on for 2025 that we want to tell the listeners about?
We are touring. We have a tour in April that has not been announced yet.
Nice.
And then we also have a handful of festivals. We're doing Sonic Temple, for sure.
Have you done that one yet?
Not officially.
That's a cool one.
We've crashed it, but we have not officially done Sonic
That's a
Temple.
cool one to do.
It's pretty cool seeing our band's name in a little font underneath all the bands that I love, that I grew up listening to. Those are a blast. And then we have a record coming out at some point, probably in the fall. It's been written. We're actually, right after Shiprocked, we're flying out to LA to finish drums and vocals.
Nice.
This record's going to be a big statement for our band, for sure. It's the first full length under a label.
And what do you think is going to make it different than before that'll make the statement?
The songwriting is matured. Jackson's pushed himself much more. We're going to have a lot more clean vocal sections with the screaming, with the rapping. A lot of the content caters to the silly side of Silly Goose.
Right.
But we've also found a way to tap into a more serious, almost more complex, layered side of the band as well, which I think hasn't really been showcased yet. So I think people will like it.
Nice. Yeah, I think the first time, if I remember, because they all swirl in my head, that you guys crashed the Danny Wimmer Festival when Danny was watching you and put you on the stage the next day. We were all laughing in media because there were geese back in media. I don't know if you remember that.
No way.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, there were geese because it was really rainy. It was a rainy day. It became a mud show at incarceration.
And I was like, that's so funny because...
It's a sign.
Yep.
Right?
It was an omen.
That was it.
Yeah.
Tell everybody how they reach out to you on socials, on the web, buy your merch, most importantly, because it's the only way bands survive. And so everybody knows, first of all, they can't listen to my show if they don't buy your merch. But second of all, like, these guys, they travel all over the country, not from a promoter, not from a record label, not even with any money. Like, they just get in the vehicle and drive with their shit and play shows everywhere. And, man, like, that is so cool and badass. And I think people need to support that. And nobody's asking, don't give donations or buy merch, because it's cool-ass merch, too.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, yeah.
We like it.
In fact, it was funny because last time I saw you guys was right near where my studio is in West Palm Beach at Respectable Street, which is one of my favorite venues.
Yeah.
And you had one shirt I bought, and it was funny because Jackson's like, I wear a medium. He's like, I only got a large. You want this one? I'm like, no, I want that one because it's the one that it's blue and white with I think it has the goose eye. I'm trying to remember in my head.
Oh, it's the bad behavior shirt? With
I
the
think
shark?
so.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a badass shirt.
Thank you.
So everybody go visit the merch, but let's tell them how they can find your merch, connect with you on socials, see where you're playing, because it's not like they can look on Ticketmaster or Live Nation. They have to go to your website, your socials, and they'll see when you're playing, where you're playing, and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Our website is sillygooserap.com.
Yep.
Yeah. You can find us. Our main social media is Instagram. We do have a TikTok, but yeah, Instagram's where it's at. Silly Goose ATL.
Cool.
There should be a link in Silly Goose ATL on the Instagram to take you to the merch, so you can kill two birds,
Nice.
one stone right there.
I love it.
Linktree.
Do you have a favorite Instagram post that you guys did?
Ooh, that's a good question. There's a couple
See?
things on there. Hold on.
See, that's a great question because they're both pulling out their phones to look at their Instagram.
Yeah, we're screen neighbors.
I love it.
I'll give you an honorable mention. Oh my God.
This is a great one. This was our Christmas post.
Whoa, that's pretty freaking cool.
So we have a fan page called Goofy Goober Goose who makes dedicated memes for us. Shout out Goofy Goober Goose. And we decided to post one of their memes on our account. But that's probably mine.
This one's cool because Jackson's looks like Santa.
Yep.
And then you're the reindeer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's the elf.
Yep. That's it. That's the Christmas one.
I love it. And you said you had an honorable mention.
It's good because it's a picture of me and Jackson in front of the first van we bought. This is
Wow.
under our name, the first band vehicle, because me and Jackson started this band. So we've been at this for years, and it's just so awesome. We're finally be like, hey, look, we made enough money. We were able to invest in a proper band vehicle instead of touring around in a Toyota Tacoma. So this post just means a lot for that reason.
Yeah, no, what I think's really cool too is, so I just thought of this last night at the show. Somebody I was staying with, they're like, man, they're so young. And I have to say about that, I've been talking about this lately. When in the 80s, when I was a teenager, I went to see the first Metallica and Slayer shows. They were basically my age. Yeah. The bands were... I couldn't imagine when I was that age going to see any band that was in their 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, whatever it is. You go to shows now and Slayer's playing or Metallica, there's everybody there. But what I love about you guys is all those bands are going to go away, and if you don't have any young blood coming in, what's going to happen to music and what's going to happen to the genre? So you guys are keeping the genre alive because we need the youth to be playing music. Even though I love these other bands, they're not going to be here. We need to pass the baton, and we need more people. And I'm hoping 20 years from now, metal and punk is even bigger than it is now, because when I was a teenager, I couldn't imagine being on something like this or a Danny Wimmer festival with bands I like, because I used to go see Metallica with 25 people. And that's what we need. You need young blood. We can't have the same stuff. And so I love what you guys are doing. You guys are badass. And I've always been impressed from that one show where you crashed and ended up on stage, because that's just the way it should be. And you guys killed it here at Shiprocked. How you gonna outdo that in your next set?
Well, the next set's on the beach,
Oh.
so people can move.
Ooh.
So it's chaos.
That's going to be great.
The beach will make the cruise look a little bit bad. We're going to go crazy.
And we
That's
have
great.
a song called Tsunami, so I think that reason alone,
that's perfect. And I love that, because when I do the punk festivals in California, they're usually on the beach.
Yeah.
And It's pretty funny watching people mosh in the sand.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I love it. Well, you guys rock, and thanks for giving us great music, and thanks for being on the Adventures of Pipeman.
Yep, appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Adventures of Pipeman on W4CY Radio.